to the Game Professors podcast, where students have taken over and we profess our love and hate for all things video games. This week, we're basically breaking down what happened in the Video Game Awards, as there were a bunch of announcements, some information came out, specific games, and it's a precursor to essentially what's going to be our Game of the Year discussion a couple of weeks from now. Outside of that, we do have a segment on Supercell, but mainly it's about the abuse of the YouTube copyright system. And Microsoft maybe understanding that they need to do better in gaming. We'll get into all of that, but first, a little follow-up to a discussion that we've had previously about Roblox. As we all believe, at least the two of us here on this podcast and quite a few other people, that it isn't necessarily doing enough to protect children. Well, the Australian government doesn't think so. They're thinking it's doing a fine job of protecting children, as a new start date for under 16 persons protections banning access to certain social medias actually excludes Roblox. This went into effect December 10th, but there are plenty of legal challenges out there, so we'll see if it actually stays. However, right now, currently, Facebook, Instagram, Kick, Reddit, Snapchat, Threads, TikTok, Twitch, X, and YouTube are all banned. If they have anyone younger than 16 that has an account, must have it deactivated. A lot of those companies are deactivating it temporarily until they become of age, and no new account creations. Those that are specifically exempt are Discord, GitHub, Google Classroom, Lego Play, Messenger, Pinterest, Roblox, Steam Chat, WhatsApp, and YouTube Kids. And I think 3 of those specifically, being Messenger, Discord, and Roblox, is definitely eyebrow raising as to why those 3 are still exempt when your goal is safety for kids under 16. Harrow, any thoughts on that?
I mean, so I understand the concept and the idea of excluding Roblox. Roblox is a game, a platform that was specifically designed for children. The problem is that they have just wholeheartedly failed to protect the children in their game.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yep. Look, I've been playing online games since I was 8.
Yeah.
But I was taught from a very young age that there are predators online.
Oh yeah.
I was effectively raised on a computer. Right? And I've been playing the same game now for frickin' 20 years. But it's weird to me that Roblox isn't doing enough, and that the Australian government isn't blocking it, even if just temporarily, until Roblox gets its shit together, right?
I mean, that's 100% fair. It doesn't necessarily, I don't know where my Russian accent is apparently coming from. But I don't think it necessarily needs to be banned full time, but I think clearly with everything that's happened and the interview that we talked about with the CEO, who doesn't seem like it's necessarily a priority, why is it not banned at least now? Why is access not available to it now? It is exempt right now and fully available. And you're talking about banning Facebook and Twitch, and I don't understand how Discord also gets a pass. I mean, I love Discord, but you're still talking about being able to access things, and it's been shown that there are nefarious individuals that are exploiting this platform along with others. So It is unfortunately a problem.
Well, and the terrible part about it is that what's happening in Roblox isn't necessarily happening directly on the platform. The platform is being used as a gateway to then get these children onto other chat apps, such as Discord, Messenger, and WhatsApp.
Yep.
That's it. Well, not to mention Snapchat, which granted Snapchat is blocked, which I think is weird. What's the difference between Snapchat and Messenger? Tell me.
I don't think
there isn't one.
I don't think there is one. Yeah.
Not anymore, right? There was at the very beginning when Messenger was just an app and Snapchat was like this specifically video or picture transferring thing, right? It was literally supposed to be you're taking a picture and sending it to someone else. That was its primary purpose. But Messenger has the same damn thing at this point, and you could arguably do the same thing with Discord. It's not quite as simple, and that its UI doesn't necessarily allow you to do that. But to say that I haven't taken a picture and then sent it to somebody on Discord is just false. Same thing with Messenger. And the terrible part about WhatsApp in particular, I don't know if this is true anymore, but what I've heard in the past is that WhatsApp does not store information at all. That includes chat history.
I believe that is true, yeah.
So a lot of companies in particular were switching to WhatsApp because it stopped them from being liable for anything they fucking said.
Also, governments and state actors as well for that exact reason,
which is
as well.
Insane. It's purely insane. But
I don't understand.
Discord, the only way you're going to get chat history from them is by suing them or like subpoenaing them, right? Yeah. Like, hey, you need to give us this information. It's a warrant. Hand it over, right? And the same thing is true with Messenger. And I don't care about YouTube being banned. YouTube Kids is not banned, so it's kind of whatever. But like the rest of the apps that are banned, they were not designed for children, right?
No.
Roblox was designed for children. Same thing with Lego Play. Same thing with YouTube Kids. These were specifically designed with children in mind. So they should, theoretically, have the protection in place for those children. However, they do not.
Yeah, I mean, should is a wonderful word.
Yep.
As, designed for kids, should be protecting kids.
Yep.
Is not, in my view. It's definitely not. And sorry, go on.
Well, the issue is that it's not going to work, right? Here's what happens, okay? We're banning these 10 applications. Hey guys, let's go make new applications that aren't yet banned.
Pretty much.
That's all that's going to happen.
Uh-huh. Well, because it doesn't ban the concept of a social media app.
Correct.
Right, a 16-year-old. You do make a good point. It's
what they would need to do is they would need to ban the concept, not specific social media applications. They need to ban the concept, and then
Facebook
create some kind of
Facebook for kids.
Yes. Back in my day, we called that MySpace, but in fact, that's hilarious. That's not on this list.
Yeah.
In either side.
Well, I mean, it's because nobody uses it.
So it makes sense to ban social media and create specific exemptions. But if your goal, and I don't know how this freaking law is written, but if you are specifically naming Facebook, Instagram, Kick, whatever, right, listing them off, then all it takes is for one new application to get injected into the marketplace, and all of a sudden they have a new avenue to do all the things that you don't want them to do. But you're removing Snapchat, but keeping Messenger. It's not about ensuring kids' safety at this point.
Nope.
Or ensuring
kids... You still
kids...
get access to stories and all of that type
exactly.
of stuff. Yeah.
Which, I mean, personally, I haven't touched Facebook in, God, probably a decade.
I've touched it today because I sold a graphics card on Marketplace.
But that's Facebook Marketplace, right? You're not engaging in Facebook.
Yeah, but you can
the
get
social
to those
media
through
platform.
Messenger, though, too.
Yes, you can. That is correct. But like, you're not engaging in the social media platform. You're engaging in a subset of basically applications. Like you're engaging in Craigslist turned Facebook.
I think here's my suggestion, because I think all of this ridiculous banning, at least specific platforms, you are correct, is ridiculous. I think the way you do this too is because all you're gonna do here is make kids want to go to these things anyways. And so, just like with anything else, what you need to do is tailor the experience. You should, let's say, create regulations around the idea that you can't lie about your age, while signing up for social media platforms, and that there's penalties that come with that. And then
Like
all
what?
these what's that?
Like what?
I mean, you
Like
can
what kind
start
of
with,
penalty?
well, I mean, you can start with fines, is just what you can start with,
Starting
and then go from there.
starting with
Yeah, but
fines
you
is a
can,
problem because that's adults who are paying that, not those children.
yeah, but the point, no, but here's the thing. Because you're penalizing lying about your age, the follow-up here is that all of these companies are required to exclude any content from any of these individuals to accounts that are for children.
Fair.
So, and the reason, and then, anyone that's lying about their age, you start with fines, you can go from there to higher penalties, and hopefully that reduces the amount overall. And then that way you're not necessarily making things taboo by banning them. You're kind of monitoring the experience. But it's a slippery slope. You go there from there too. Because before you go, one of the lawsuits is from 15-year-olds arguing that rights don't start at 16. And that you're
They're not
taking away
wrong.
a free speech right, which I think is a great way to look at it.
I
I
literally
mean, the
saw a
reverse
YouTube short on
argument
this
is
today.
that we protect innocent children from other things. You're not allowed to get tattoos, all this kind of stuff. So you go back and forth. But
You
I
are
do
allowed
like
to
the
get
argument.
tattoos.
What's that?
You can get a tattoo underage. It's the parent who has to give approval.
Sure,
So
100%.
Can
But
a
the
parent
point
give
is the
approval
kids
to be on
aren't
these
in
apps?
control of that, though.
Yeah,
right?
sure. But that's because your guardianship is still technically your parent, right? Guardianship succeeds certain aspects of rights. But if you are in public and you are saying whatever the hell you want, you are allowed free speech, but you are also allowed the consequences in your personal life.
Yeah.
Plain and simple, right?
Say whatever you want. You're not free of consequences.
Exactly. Now, one thing I did want to mention is I find banning Twitch really weird.
Yeah.
And let me tell you why.
Okay.
Twitch already has a locked-in age requirement of 13.
Sure.
So you've now just banned Twitch for 3 years.
I mean, yeah, this is essentially what happens, yeah.
And let's talk about, I don't know, esports players, up and coming esport athletes.
Yeah.
Most of them get their recognition on Twitch and YouTube.
Yeah. You're not wrong.
So how are they going to do that? You've effectively just removed their marketing.
WeChat.
Oh, man.
What's the Chinese social media platform?
Bilibili.
Yeah, Bilibili. So there you go. Go stream on Bilibili.
Actually,
I mean,
that is hilarious because that's not banned.
But to your point here, if you're banning specific stuff, it does nothing. Because there's an alternative. You go do something else. You're just pushing, and especially if it's Bilibili, the Australian government doesn't have any way to enforce anything over Bilibili. So, you're just pushing them to a platform that you have zero control over.
You know what this reminds me of?
What's that?
This reminds me of when Tumblr changed their 18+ content rule.
Yeah.
You didn't do anything. You didn't stop the content from being generated or existing.
To another platform.
You just sent people to Reddit.
Yep.
That's all that
100%
happened.
what happened.
And you made it less personable.
Uh-huh.
Because now it's less about the people and it's more about subreddits.
100% that happened.
Yeah. So it's ridiculous.
It's ridiculous.
It's all ridiculous.
Yep.
Anyways, though.
Alrighty. Well,
speaking of follow-ups to previous topics.
Okay.
I was watching a YouTuber the other day. In fact, speaking of YouTube, I was watching
it's a good thing you're over
YouTuber.
16.
True. I was watching a YouTuber. They were playing Escape from Tarkov, and it was a live stream, and they had been informed by their chat that Escape from Tarkov's price of RAM has drastically increased. right? There is an item in the game that is just known as RAM, right? Random access memory.
Oh, you're not talking about the game requiring more RAM to play.
No.
Okay.
They actually so obviously you have rubles in the game. You also have dollar currency and
in-game monies.
Yeah, pounds, I think is what it is. Euros. One of the two. Whatever,
you just
right?
went through like 4 different currencies.
No, they have them all. That's the thing, right? Tarkov has all of those currencies, including Bitcoin and some other thing called GP coin. But anyways, the point is that before RAM was like 10,000 rubles, something like that. And the developers of Escape from Tarkov artificially increased the price of the RAM. The way that they did this was creating really good trade-ins for RAM sticks. So you could trade in like one RAM stick for a plate of level 5 armor.
Sure.
Right? And I think it only goes up to level 6. So, like, second best armor in the game, and all you have to do is hand them one RAM stick.
Yeah.
And then to get a plate of a level 6 armor, it's 2 RAM sticks. To get some of the best, actual armor plating or vests in the game, it's like 3 or 4 RAM sticks, right? So that's how they artificially increased it, was by creating these trade-ins. And you saw the price of RAM go from 10,000 rubles to 122,000 rubles. And it is...
So what you're saying is that RAM suppliers found a new lucrative business, so they took their memory supply specifically to that, which increased the price for everybody else. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, what's actually happening is that all of these AI companies are trading in their RAM sticks for military provisions to fund their private armies.
Perfect. Great. Sounds legit.
Makes perfect sense to me.
Yeah, well, life imitates art, and art imitates life.
It does indeed.
Here we go. Just it's not good enough that RAM is unattainium now for the rest of us, but also you can't have it virtually either. So.
Indeed.
All right. Well, speaking of RAM, it's been discovered that Discord has an auto restart feature. So like those old Persona 5 games where to get your special powers and to fix things, you have to knock one out. When Discord starts eating up too much RAM, apparently it just restarts itself, which is kind of nuts for me as a management solution for Windows 11. So, the problem is Discord has some memory leaks, it balloons in usage, and obviously that affects performance. So they're putting out an experimental feature where when the RAM exceeds specifically 4 gigs, the app automatically restarts in the background to free up memory.
That's stupid. Look.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. My Discord. It has been open since 10 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
It's currently 8 p.m.
Yeah.
Okay. So it has been open all day. I am on Windows 11. It is taking 700 megabytes.
Yep.
Okay. Has been open all day. Why is 4 gigabytes your friggin' limit on this? It should be like 2.
4 gigs is nuts, because especially you're talking like this. You look at the Steam hardware stuff, right? The majority of people don't have 32 gigs of RAM in their system.
I know.
So you're talking about a normal system of 16 gigs of RAM. 25% of it is being eaten up by Discord before Discord goes, oh, I guess I should restart because people can't fix my memory leak problem, and so the only way to fix it is to just reboot constantly.
Now, one thing I am noticing, because you have some user workarounds in this list.
Yeah.
I have all of these turned on. Every single one of them. But that's because I've had glitches with hardware acceleration in the past, right? oftentimes if you enable hardware acceleration in the app, it will just start freezing and be buggy. And I'm like,
Yep.
hey, stop using my GPU to run a stupid simple app. Thanks. And then like, I don't think I've cleared Discord's cache anytime recently, but like, what do you mean by close unnecessary servers/channels? You want me to just leave Discords entirely? That's just not happening. Rich presence features. Yeah, I could see that. I mean, it's constantly checking what you're doing. In this time period, I have gained 7 megabytes on my Discord somehow. But yeah, it's weird.
I appreciate that they have put out a temporary feature. It's a feature that it has a memory leak. I'm just happy that they put out a temporary solution to a problem rather than just leaving it for forever. I just don't understand like how you're this large of a program and your solution is just internally turning it on and off again.
I mean, the problem is that Discord is not a profitable business, right? I don't know that we've talked about this in the past, but I mean, I think you and I have personally. Yeah. But like Discord is not a profitable business. It is a business that runs in the black, close to the red, if not in the red all the time. Sure. Right? And like 9 times out of 10, they survive off of angel investors and tiny little microtransactions here and there, right? Think of all the servers that they're running that we all take for granted, right?
Yep.
I think, I don't remember which entrepreneur said it, but they said, if you're not paying for the service, you are the product.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is true of Discord.
Oh, yeah.
So
that data gets sold, man.
Yeah, 100%. But at the same time,
keep that gravy train rolling. Don't fix the memory leak, just restart it.
Well, so the other problem that I have with this is that it only triggers when the user is AFK, which means specifically idle for at least 30 minutes. And it also will not do it during voice or video calls. But it also only happens once every 24 hours, and the app has to have been up for 1+ hours. And I'm just sitting here like, look, this is way too many limitations. If my Discord was taking up 4 gigabytes of my RAM, I'd want to know. Tell me. Give me a pop-up in the application. Give me a notification. Give me something that says
abnormal usage. Please restart your Discord.
We've detected that your Discord is currently utilizing an excessive amount of RAM. Please restart your Discord. And then just give us the little freaking
just give
keyboard
me the
shortcut. Well, give me the restart button. That'd be sick. But also give me the keyboard shortcut. I don't think a lot of people know this, but literally, if you have Discord Focus and you just Control-Shift-R, it restarts your Discord.
I mean, fair. I don't think I knew that.
Tips from Haru, I guess. but like, yeah.
Haru's tips.
And I get it very frequently, where like I'll be in a Discord for like 12 hours, right? Or some shit like that, just like in a voice call. And I'll hit my mute button, my toggle mute button, and then I'll hear it mute, like the sound effect, like 15 seconds later. And I'm like, what the fuck is happening? And the way that I've found to solve that is just restart Discord, right? Because it's clearly lagging. So Control-Shift-R was super fast. And the number of times that I've told people at this point, hey, if you're having issues, just Control-Shift-R.
Look, people like options.
Yeah.
Control-Shift-R is great. If this was truly a problem, don't put all these limitations on it. Put up a pop-up window.
Or both.
We've detected large resource usage. Please restart your Discord for a better performance, and then restart or ignore. That's like just a button right there.
Yeah.
For everybody else. Yes, the shortcut is good, but for everybody else, you could just have a little pop-up window and call it a day.
Yeah, for sure.
Alrighty. Well, hopefully they fix that memory leak at some point. But
I haven't run into it.
Whatever. Our first remaster discussion for this episode, as there's another one later. A Deus Ex, which is one of those highly acclaimed old school games, was getting a remaster. It was supposed to be February 5th, 2026. Delayed indefinitely. Not just delayed, but delayed indefinitely. It kind of stems from the fact that they put out an art style and the game looked vastly different than kind of the original, which you can update things, but if you're putting out a remaster, you're trying to get the fans of the original, and you either need to have it have that feel of the original, or you need to do the Halo Chief Master Chief Collection thing where you can toggle kind of between original look and new look, one or the other. Anyways, a lot of big pushback, and they've delayed it indefinitely, and this isn't like, hey, delayed indefinitely, we're keeping all your pre-order money. They've fully refunded everybody as well. So who knows what will happen with this at this point.
Mm-hmm. I mean, what's the point of a remaster, right? The point of a remaster is to bring back, like, effectively to play on nostalgia, right?
Mm-hmm.
Marketing-wise. That's the whole purpose. People are going to buy a remastered version because of nostalgia. It's the reason WoW Classic worked so well, right?
100%.
But at the end of the day, if you're going to completely change the art style, not like the graphics, but the art style specifically, you're no longer doing a remaster, you're now doing a remake.
True.
Right? And I think that's the thing that we're missing. And granted, the gaming development industry is in shambles right now. Like, completely in shambles. We can talk about that next week, but it is really completely freaking in shambles. And they've started using stupid terms like remake, remaster, relaunch, whatever
Reboot.
the hell, right? Right, reboot. Literally put and then think of something that stands for doing it better. It's probably been used.
Reskin.
Oh man. But anyways, like, yeah, that's kind of my point, right?
Yeah.
Especially as a person who's played, World of Warcraft for 20 years, to say that the game has not improved its art over those 20 years would be blatantly false. If you go back to original zones that have never been changed, never been updated, they still have very old, very clunky graphics. But the art style has stayed the same for 20 years. It's still very blocky. It's still very overly pronounced, right?
Well,
it's still very saturated.
Universe, right?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So it's still very saturated and stuff like that. But they've never changed the art style. But they have improved the graphics. They have improved details on everything, from fences that are in front of a house or along a path or something to the armor and weapons that our characters are carrying, right? You look at some of the older stuff, like Sulfuron's hammer, for example.
Mm-hmm.
It looks stupid. It looks absolutely terrible. The old version does, but the remade version that they made back in Cataclysm was slightly better. Not significantly better, because it was still 2010, I think, but slightly better. But yeah. Anyways, that's my tangent for the day, I guess.
No, I 100% agree with you. Keep it, make it feel like it's part of the universe. You have a style, you have a look. Keep it, in the family at least. You can update things, and like I said, if you want to do the new thing, have like a toggle or give me an homage or a reason or something. Just changing it out of the blue kind of defeats the purpose of that nostalgia grab, like you said. So, alrighty, let's get into our first initial discussion about Clair Obscur Expedition 33. Before we get into the full Game of the Year award stuff. So, you and I disagree on some Game of the Year stuff, but I think we can both agree that for a game to be game of the year, it has to be pretty highly rated in our book, right? So
Yes.
like if you're going to give a game of the year, it's probably in your eyes like a 9 or a 10, and I know people don't give out 10s cuz 10s are perfect, but I'm going to say, "Hey, this is from all intents and purposes as I can see it, a perfect experience for me,"
Right.
right? So like, you're looking at a 9 or a 10 for it to be kind of a game in the year for you type of experience.
Mhm.
So, I have an issue that specifically IGN Japan gave Clair Obscur, from this point I'm just gonna call it Expedition 33, a 7 out of 10, and then also made it their game of the year.
Uh,
Uh, I I don't see how those two go together.
Me
I,
neither.
d- I don't
Like,
because my next question would be, so did anything else get an 8 out of 10, or was that the maximum? Are you just a super hard grader? Nothing else got higher than a 7 out of 10, which
right,
obviously is not true.
for sure.
So how does it win your game of the year? Because either one of two things is true/wrong. It's either better than a 7 out of 10, or you don't truly believe it's game of the year. One or the other, and you're just doing it because everybody else is doing it. So which
Right.
one is it?
Right. Like, there's so many things about Expedition 33 that we could go into, but trying to stick with the theme here for a second, it seems to me like the reviewer didn't like that style of game,
Sure.
so tossed it off as just saying, "Ah, yeah, it was good." Right? But but selecting it as your game of the year, my guess is that that's probably two different people making
Yeah. Well,
those
I would imagine a
decisions.
committee probably voted on game of the year, right?
Right, for sure. Maybe you should have committees vote on your scoring for specific games, huh?
Or
Um,
make it a whole new article. Hey, we do think this is game of the year, so we went back and revisited our review and updated it. You can
yeah,
get extra clicks out of it essentially. And
true.
you can
You're
give
not
the
even
original
wrong.
one next to it and the new one and be like, here's why we've changed it. Here's what we think is different.
Yep. Yeah, for sure. And it's so weird, right? Because 7 on IGN's official scoring thing is just good, right? Not great, not amazing,
Nope.
good. So, yeah, it doesn't make sense for game of the year. Now, personally, I think that game of the year should have nothing to do with subjective belief and should have everything to do with objective quality. Right?
I
Personally.
mean, yeah, you can do that to a point because there's
Sure.
obviously, just like clearly with this reviewer, there's just going to be people that don't necessarily agree from a personal level, and then at that point, you're just giving something game of the year because of what everybody else is doing.
Right. Now,
So,
I can say with all of my chest, I did not like Expedition 33.
hmm,
Okay? But hold on. Because I thought the story was amazing, the gameplay was fantastic,
sure,
and everything about that game was objectively amazing.
I think that's fair.
I hate turn-based games.
Yep, yeah, yeah. No,
Right?
I think
That's the
that's
reality.
100% fair.
I can't play them. They're too slow. I'm a mythic raider. I'm freaking ADHD brain, dude. I got go.
Well,
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I think you're actually stumbling on, if you weren't going to make it yourself, a good point here is maybe then as an organization you need to encourage your journalists to be like, hey, this isn't a game for me. I'm not going to give it as fair of a shake as I think somebody else who enjoys turn-based RPGs would. So let me swap with somebody who will enjoy this more.
Yeah.
So I do kind of think where you're on the right track here, where or even as an editor, you need to recognize, okay, this wasn't really their thing. So maybe this needs to be a collaboration with somebody else who
Mm-hmm.
it's more their thing. And you can
Now,
put in the review. Reviewer A, not really turn-based RPG fan, but recognizes all these things are great. Reviewer B thinks, yeah, oh yeah, this is great. So it's getting in 8 out of 10, 8.5 out of 10.
right,
whatever.
for sure. And like, we're talking about official paid reviewers, right?
Yep.
I'm not talking about Joe Schmo who reviews a game on Steam, okay? We're not talking about that. We're talking about an official reviewer who is actively getting paid for doing this review. They should give the game a fair shake. It should be their type of game.
Journalists in air quote.
Yeah, for real though. But like, it should be their thing, right?
Yeah.
You're not gonna take someone who is primarily a first-person shooter gamer and then throw them into Animal Crossing and tell them to give it a good freaking review, right?
No.
Like, that's just not going to happen. So you need to pick your journalists correctly. And I think in this case, IGN Japan probably just didn't.
No. Yeah, I agree with that. Definitely don't think so. And clearly this is an outlier considering the absolute cleanup that it had at the VGAs, along with everywhere else. Any last comments on this?
It shattered everything.
Oh yeah,
But
we'll get into it. Alrighty. Well, I think then it's time to move on to lab work. Alright, normally lab work is analyzing recent releases. I've put the Video Game Awards in here because it was recently released on TV. I don't care, that's my justification. Anyways, I'm gonna go through these quickly, but the awards are as follows: Game of the Year, Best Game Direction, Best Narrative, Best Role-Playing Game, Best Independent Game, all Expedition 33. Best Action Game, Hades 2, Adventure Game, Hollow Knight Silksong, Fighting Game, Fatal Fury, City of Wolves, Family Game, Donkey Kong Bonanza, Strategy Sim Game, Final Fantasy Tactics, Best Multiplayer Game, Ark Raiders, Best Ongoing Game, No Man's Sky, Community Support, Baldur's Gate 3, Mobile Game, Pretty Derby. Oh god, yeah, the anime horse racing girls.
Uma Musume? Yeah.
Oh my goodness, I forgot about this one.
Me too.
Best VR AR game, The Midnight Walk. Best Adaptation, Last of Us Season 2. Games for Impact, South of Midnight, Innovation and Accessibility, Doom Dark Ages, Most Anticipated Game, Grand Theft Auto 6, Shock, Player's Choice, Withering Waves, and Content Creator of the Year, Moist Critical. Expedition 33 won 9 awards in total, which set a new record for the most awards of one at a single ceremony, which is nuts.
Yeah, it is.
I personally think it came at a good time too. I don't think there were necessarily a lot of high-profile narrative experiences this year to compete with it that were on the same quality as Expedition 33.
Agreed.
Which I think kind of set it up for a lot of success along with, its own achievements, obviously.
And on top of that, it came at a time where it's specifically like April 25, right?
Mm-hmm.
It came at a time where people were kind of finishing up their playthroughs of Baldur's Gate 3. Right?
Well, I mean,
similar
been out for a while, but yeah, well, it's just the holidays, right?
Its official release, Baldur's Gate 3's official release was August of 23.
Sure.
Right? But I know so many people who did multiple runs of that game. Right?
I haven't completed a full run. I've played a lot of it, but
I also have not completed a full run, but we've already gotten into me not liking turn-based games.
Says the guy that loves D&D.
You're not wrong. That's different, right? Anyways, the point is that I think people were really, really, really itching for something to fill that void again.
Sure. Yeah.
Right? Something that did have high quality. And it's clear to me, even it's just in the 10 hours that I played it, it was extremely high quality.
Yep. You want to know the other big thing here too? No expectations. There's nothing to disappoint. It was an obscure Clair Obscur.
Oh my god.
But I mean, it's all seriousness. Yeah, it there was no expectations. It's from an indie studio. It came out of left field, was amazing, and so there was no disappointment to be had anywhere. Like you there was no hype for anyone to be disappointed at. So I think a perfect storm for it to do well, along with it actually being obviously amazing. So yeah, good cleanup at the awards. Sometimes timing is everything, right?
Another thing that I'd kind of like to mention, I don't 100% know if this is its same release price or if they reduced it. I doubt they reduced it. But it's only $50 currently on sale.
It was. It was not a
released at
full
$50?
$60+ game. No.
Yeah, which, I mean, hey, how many people didn't shy away from it because it wasn't a $70 game?
Yeah. Or at least were pleasantly surprised. Oh, it's not a $60 game? I keep hearing about it. All right, let's
Yeah, exactly. Like, for every $70 game that's out there, yeah, maybe you make 20, 30 extra dollars off of an individual person, but how many people did you scare away for that $70 game?
Yep.
You know? So it doesn't... I hate the fact that so many AAA studios are going up to $70.
I mean, just be grateful it's not $80.
I will say, with all the awards that they won, which was quite a few, it was happening in the middle of my raid in WoW, and I was so annoyed at the people who just kept talking about it because it was so clear to me that they weren't focusing on the goddamn mechanics of the boss, and we were just wiping over and over and over again. It just drove me insane.
Shut up, Ray Daddy. The awards are on, and I need to see if my favorite game wins.
Gonna kill everyone, I swear. But anyways, one of the comments that was mentioned...
that's the boss that's gonna kill everyone.
Clearly. So one of the things that was mentioned during that raid was that it was pretty obvious that the devs, or the people who were accepting the rewards or awards for Expedition 33, as they kept going up there over and over and over again, they started getting more and more embarrassed. I didn't watch it, but I believe that to be true. But I'm also one of those people where I'm just like, nah, own that shit.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
right?
It takes a...
I did this.
I mean, it takes a specific kind of person with confidence for 9 separate times to walk up and be like, yeah, I've been up here 8 times already, but I want you to know I am the greatest. This is the... I mean, I don't know. I might be up here again, but at least for these 9 times, y'all can suck it. Yeah!
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean... If I remember correctly, it's done in like reverse order of this list, right? Game of the Year is the last thing announced.
Yeah.
Yeah, as it should.
Well, I don't know if these were in order.
Right.
Because I think some of the stuff was spread out there. But yeah, Game of the Year would have been at the end.
Yeah. So, like, at the very end, you know it's your final award.
That's
right?
fair. You're not wrong.
So, like, screw these 8 other awards. I won the one that matters, you know? Yeah. Like, especially the type of game that it was, right? It was just, it came out of left field, came out of nowhere.
Yep.
And did an absolutely amazing job at innovating on a genre and type of gameplay that had been so stagnant for so long.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, sure, there were some snubs, right? Some people didn't get anything that are probably amazing games, wouldn't know. They're not available on PC. But, like, you know.
So my question here is, are you wanting them to just walk up on stage for that Game of the Year award and slap down their sausage and or taco onto the podium and just be like, yeah, this is mine. I'm taking this home.
No, I want them to
Got
walk
nothing
up
on
there
me.
while holding all 8 of their previous awards just to shove it in everybody's face. The fact of the matter is, like I said, the games industry is in shambles.
Yeah.
So what people who are making good games appropriately and like responsibly, they need to shove it in everybody else's face. They need to be proud of that.
Yeah.
Because when a game gets greater than 90% positive on Steam, something about it is god tier.
Yeah.
Right? That happens once in a blue moon. I can literally name them on one hand. Right?
Oh,
We're
yeah.
talking Oxygen Not Included, Undertale, RimWorld, Expedition 33,
Yep.
right? Just like things like that. Right?
Various indie games that people fall in love with.
Literally. This
Yeah.
is how you make games. Do
Yep.
it right.
Oh, and they even did more right that we'll get into later. So we'll
Yes.
circle back around to Expedition 33 because they are the gold standard, along with a couple other companies, for what a good developer and a good shepherd of gaming looks like. Outside of that, you did mention some snubs. There were 2 glaringly obvious snubs.
Mm.
And I'm not necessarily saying that these deserved nominations. I am just saying that they got none. Or, sorry, they got no victories. They got nominations. They didn't get any victories. But both Death Stranding 2 and Ghost of Yotei, nothing. And specifically, Ghost of Yotei had 7 nominations and lost all of them. So, you get nothing?
I mean, so like, only one game can win Game of the Year, right?
Mhm.
Only one game can win Best Narrative.
Yeah.
Only one game can win Best Game Direction. Only one game can win Best Role Playing, Best Independent, right? So on and so forth. The problem is that these 2 games, while from what I've heard, amazing, they all fall under the same realm that Expedition 33 does.
I mean, and things I didn't have on here is specific people from Expedition 33 won like best voice acting and all that kind of stuff. That's where the extra awards come from that aren't mentioned here.
Yeah.
I think the point is that most of the time that love is spread out because it's hard to do all of that in one game. And
yes,
nail
it absolutely is. But Death Stranding, right? It just as a game series, not as a game, it's a narrative role-playing game that has an amazing story behind it. It's literally one of my favorite games of all time. But
I thought it was sci-fi thriller Amazon package delivery.
I mean, it kind of is. But like that's the thing, right? It's an understated story.
Sure.
So
sure.
it's good,
I joke.
right? But let's say that Death Stranding 2 came out in 2026.
Mhm.
Does it win? Maybe. Right? Who knows what else is
we'll
coming out in
see.
2026? But my point is
mean,
that like if
Grand
either
Theft
one of
Auto is
these,
supposed to come out in 2026.
right? So I would love to see the runner-up of all of these options, and I don't know that there is a runner-up on their shit, but
I mean,
Yeah.
we'll take a look at more games for Game of the Year because we'll also go over a
Yeah.
few of the lists that come out. So you'll essentially see runner-ups by seeing who's to and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, we didn't
Yeah,
get it
for
for
sure.
this specifically.
Yep. Yeah, we'll definitely talk about it because I think we definitely should bring up some of the honorable mentions, quote unquote.
You're not wrong. But outside of that, before we kind of get into more specific game talk and controversies, there were a few decently big announcements through the night with the VGAs. And if anyone doesn't know, any trailers or anything, those slots are going for like $1 million a piece. I don't know if you know this. So if
I
you
had no
buy
idea.
airtime to play a new trailer or show off a game, that's like you're dropping dropping a milli to advertise your game, which
I mean,
targeted, fair enough, but it's kind of getting to the
for
point where it is a little ridiculous, and especially it's going to be harder for indies to pay for that time to kind of get game exposure. But neither here nor there. Larian Studios of Baldur's Gate 3 fame very publicly said they are not doing any more Baldur's Gate games. They've said that previously, and they did show off their next, at least a little bit of their next project called Divinity, which is an original project. So go check that out. That's something that's coming down the line. Apparently, it's going to have a little bit of a tonal shift, so it's going to be more of a Wicker Man style cinematic kind of universe, and more of a dark fantasy kind of original sin setting. It's going to be larger. The CEO did say it will be the studio's biggest game ever, which is kind of wild considering how big Baldur's Gate 3 is. But if any studio can do it, I guess they can. However, I did also think the same thing of Cyberpunk's 2077 from CD Projekt Red, so the mighty can always fall. Let's cross our fingers and hope that they can actually stay focused and not necessarily try to overachieve where they don't need to.
Yep.
And unfortunately, Haru won't be necessarily on board. It is still going to be turn-based RPG. So
I am disappointed, but it's what they're good at. And to say that Baldur's Gate 3 wasn't a good game just because I don't like turn-based is just wrong.
Oh, yeah. And I'm not saying that, obviously.
I know.
I'm just saying you won't be able to fully enjoy it, unfortunately.
You're right. I really won't. I'll still probably buy it because I do like playing turn-based games with Demi. So
Oh, I could see that. I could see that being a fun, like, couch co-op type thing where you make decisions together.
Which we might as well be on a couch. I mean, she's 3 feet to my left.
I mean, I just use that as a general term. Everyone gets the idea when you say, like,
I know.
experience. Okay, fine. She's in your lap. I don't know what you want me to say.
I said 3 feet to my left, sir. Relax.
All right. Quickly, a few other ones. A couple new Star Wars games, potentially on the horizon. Fate of the Old Republic, which is supposed to be a narrative-focused action RPG, which I do like the Star Wars universe, not necessarily the new Star Wars universe, but if you can give me a cool single-player game in the Star Wars universe, I'll be happy, especially considering it's supposed to be helmed by Casey Hudson, which is the original director of KOTOR and one of my favorite video game series of all time, Mass Effect. So hopefully it's good. I'm not holding my breath on that one. And then a Star Wars Galactic Racer, high-speed racing game. Yay, whatever. Outside of that, what's that?
That could be fun.
I mean, it could be. I think there's enough racers out there. So
I mean, yes. But, like,
look,
you've never...
I guess here's the thing. I shouldn't poo-poo someone trying something new and putting a new good game out there. If it's great, awesome. I guess I'm just not excited about kart racers.
Oh,
at the
for
moment.
sure.
That's what this seems like it might be. I guess if it's
Yeah.
more of a realistic racer set with Star Wars vehicles, that could be kind of interesting.
Yeah, like, if it was... I wish it... I mean, they probably have other, like, pod racer style games, but, like, with the technology that we have now, seeing a decent pod racer game would be sick. Because,
Sure.
like, the last racing game that I really got into was Burnout, right? Not any of the newer titles. I think it was like Burnout Revenge or something like that. The one where you could just literally check civilian cars into other racers, right? That one. Give me back that.
I did Paradise, but that was only because I could do the crashing minigame and see how much damage I could rack up.
That was a fun one. I think it was in Revenge too.
It might have been. Also, I really liked the soundtrack of Paradise. It was great. Too much, too young, too fair. Anyways,
Yeah.
two Tomb Raider games also announced with a new mainline series, Tomb Raider Catalyst. Put a release window of 2027. It will be a direct sequel to Underworld, which, no, is not the last Tomb Raider game. It is the Tomb Raider game from 2008. So good luck with that timeline and keeping that all straight. Outside of that, apparently it's going to be set in northern India, which is at least a unique location for it to be set. So that could be cool with some culture and lore from that area that hasn't been explored heavily. Supposedly a wrist style mounted grappling hook, which I guess is the new hotness. Everyone likes the Spider-Man grapple around type stuff, but whatever. Outside of that, Haru's favorite thing, a remake is coming. Tomb Raider Legacy of Atlantis, which is which should be coming out next year, timed for the 30th anniversary, and it is supposed to be a quote-unquote modern reimagining of the original 1996 Tomb Raider game. Now, you'll be shocked to know, no, she does not have triangle boobs, so
Sad.
it will look slightly different, and it will be on Unreal Engine 5. So we'll see.
Will
how
they
that
bounce,
goes.
though?
Will they bounce? Well, I mean, if you're staying true to the original, they can't. They just have to stay stationary and locked in 3D space the whole time. So
Very perky, then. Got it.
I mean, I guess you're not wrong. Okay. A little bit of controversy from the Game Awards, as we did mention earlier that the Player's Choice game was Wuthering Waves. Do you know what Wuthering Waves is, Haru?
So I'm just going to correct you because it's Wuthering Waves.
Wuthering, God, whatever. It's ridiculous.
I do absolutely know about it. And, oh, God. I hate gacha so much. I hate gacha games.
Yes,
so many games have
a gacha game.
They have so many games have gacha mechanics in them now because of the popularity of gacha games, and it drives me up a wall.
Yep. They get your money. They get your money. They bring it in, but it is a gacha game. For anyone who doesn't know, gacha games are basically extreme loot box games. Filled with plenty of microtransactions where they're trying to get your money for characters in game rewards. Take your pick, but basically it's all built around the mechanic of small chance for something that's required for gameplay. I hate that this game won, and the controversy stems from the fact that they were offering free in-game pulls, as in the gacha, as in the chances to get some good characters, as incentive to vote for them, and if they won, they would give out more. So, yep. I mean, is this bribery?
Yes. 100%.
Yeah.
Like that. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. And in my professional opinion, I'm gonna go with a gacha game is not a game. It's a credit card swipe simulator.
I think gacha games have game mechanics.
Yes,
but I do think that as soon as you take out the credit card mechanic, they become really short games.
Yes, 100%. Because all they have done is added a bunch of artificial difficulty to the game to force you to pay.
Yep.
And that's the problem that I really have, right? Genshin Impact. Let's use that as a decent example because most people know what Genshin Impact is over Wuthering Waves, even though Wuthering Waves has been making headlines. In Genshin Impact, there's plenty of like action RPG elements. They are boring as hell. There is nothing to them. You can basically just tap one button and get through it.
Yep.
Right? Sure, there's some complex bosses or whatever.
Or places to explore or whatever.
Sure. But The complex bosses, the actual difficult bosses, are made stupid easy by extremely overpowered characters, right? With highly leveled gear and stuff like that. How do you get those things? Oh, you buy a freaking roulette, spin the wheel, and hope it doesn't kill you.
Or guess what? You don't have a good enough character yet to complete this level. You just can't. It's impossible. So why don't you go, pull slash roll slash, do your chance, open a pack to get the character that's a high enough level to actually beat this.
And then the problem comes where you get free packs on occasion, but they're not significant enough. And on the same extent is you're basically paying for convenience, right? Gacha games are the pure aspect of pay to win, right? It is pay to win turned up to 3,000, not 11, 3,000.
Yeah,
because that is the whole game. It's just 100%. Pay to win. So, like, you can either wait 3, 6, 7 months to have enough free pulls to eventually maybe beat this boss and overcome it just purely based on gear and like quality of character, or you can pay $60 and have it now.
Yeah, well, no, here's the thing. You don't need to pay $60, okay? There's always a discount where the small package is like 50% every 24 hours. And then there's that one discounted package once a month that you can get. So you don't have to do the $60. If you just do the discounted packs, it'll be fine. But, I swear, man, I can stop any time, bro. No, I don't need to get the thing, man. I can stop any time. I just need to spend the $1 a day and I'll be fine. That's all I need to do. Don't worry about it.
Just $30 a day.
I'm not addicted. I don't know what you're talking about. Anyways, not new. I assume you specifically chose Genshin Impact because they also essentially did this back in 2022. Where they gave out in-game currency post-win, and I mean, here's the thing: I don't think they should qualify, and I do think that if they're gonna offer even mention anything like this, they should automatically be disallowed from here. And the reason this has come up specifically is because the indie darling game Dispatch, which is a adult version essentially of a Telltale game set in a superhero universe where there is a guy that used to be a hero, but things happened and now he's organizing heroes. There's a romance line. A lot of people loved it. It looks fun. Honestly, if it goes on sale, I'll probably give it a go. It just looks interesting enough to go through that story type of stuff. Every now and then I do enjoy playing that Telltale style game. So I look forward to it, but it also lost, which is unfortunate because it probably would have won without the gacha bribery.
And to be clear, it lost with a overwhelmingly positive of 97% on Steam alone.
Yep.
From 129,000 players.
100%.
And
it's very highly rated.
If previous statistics are still accurate, that means that this game actually has roughly 390,000 players. There's usually a 3-to-1 rule when it comes to reviews.
Well, and at least at one point, right?
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, like, even on OpenCritic, it's got 96% critic recommended with 100% player rating.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good game. It should have won, and it unfortunately lost due to bribery. And I think you and I both agree it is actual bribery. They should cut that out.
I personally think that the solution to this is ban gacha games from the Game Awards.
Yeah.
It's clear that, number one, their developers don't give a shit about their players in any way, shape, or form. Their company does not care in any way, shape, or form. And they will use any tactic to encourage their players to use and spend more money and use more currency. Like, that's kind of the reality. And I think any game that is willing to do that, any developer that is willing to do that, should not be allowed in the Game Awards at all. Like, us as people and as gamers need to fight this.
Yeah, it doesn't reflect well that this is the type of game that we're choosing to reward/award. This should not necessarily be the thing that we're highlighting as a community standout. And people can enjoy what they want to enjoy, but I don't think this is the thing that we should be focusing on.
The problem is, right, is that it states, one of the things stated is that thank you rewards or awards, whatever, from the developers is a common thing, right? I wouldn't doubt if Arc Raiders get something like that. I know for a fact Expedition 33 has already gotten something like that. The problem is that this is a financial aspect, right? Them releasing an additional thank you patch in Expedition 33 does not benefit me in any way outside of giving me more content to play, right? It's literally saying, hey, come back to our game and play, right?
Yep.
Whereas in a gacha game, it's the potential of saving, depending on the quality of the thank you that they push down, anywhere from $10 to $1,000, depending on the quality, right?
I think you're right.
And that's ridiculous.
It is very ridiculous.
If Arc Raiders came out with a unique skin that they gave to everybody, right? Everybody that had already had an account prior to the Game Awards happening, and they just gave it out to everybody for free, right? That's not a financial decision, right? It's not the decision between I'm purchasing a skin or not, right?
I mean, 100% correct. And I think the point here is that even if it was free, it's not the incentive moving forward. So yes, they're giving out these free pulls, but that's not the incentive to play the game after that. It's not pushing you to be able to finish the game needing a skin, so on and so forth. So, yeah, disappointing. We don't have control over it, though.
Yeah, and to be fair, right, like, gacha games are massive. They are active across the entire globe, and more than anything, they have a player base who is directly involved in their video game, right?
Yep.
While also, they tend to be ridiculously simple, so anybody can play it, regardless of your skill in a video game. If you aren't skilled at video games, well, just give us $3,000 and we'll just kill the boss for you. Like, unfortunately, that is actually a reality.
You have a percentage chance to be able to kill the boss.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No.
I don't know, man. Gacha games have always been a very sore spot for me. Not because I've, like, spent a bunch of money on them or anything like that. It's the fact that I don't view them as actual video games, and to call them video games in the first place is an insult to video games everywhere.
Yeah. I mean, it's the reason we all got outraged at loot boxes in, like, EA games, right? And it's just
no
the
one wants
evolution
that
of
shit.
that. And there are plenty of experiences that could be good. You look at Genshin Impact, you look at some of these other things that people do love. I would argue, is the game better with the gacha mechanics, or would you prefer the game without the gacha mechanics? And I don't think any sane person would say, oh, no, yeah, I would prefer it to keep those mechanics in. I want to pay money for that. If
Right.
you could take all those characters and make them earnable in the game, it instantly becomes better, and I think that's the telling portion of this.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, to kind of hit on the microtransaction aspect, we can look at was it the recent God of War or was it Assassin's Creed? One of the two. There was literally an option to just in the store for a single player game, which, to be fair, most gacha games kind of are.
Yeah,
Like,
for the most part.
there's a community, but like they're mostly just single player
Or co-op. They're single player or co-op.
Yeah, exactly. So like in a single player game, I'm pretty sure it was God of War. You could just pay for an entire set of armor and set of weapons that basically just made you kill everything without trying.
Yep.
Like instead of doing what every other freaking developer in the world does, is just add a fucking story mode. Right? Hey, I'm not good at video games, but I'd like to enjoy your story. Cool.
Yeah, I don't disagree.
Here's your story mode. Right? The
I'm
bosses are not hard. They hit you like wet noodles. Like it doesn't matter if you're good at iframing or anything like that. Just auto attack the boss and it'll die.
Point being is we should reward that behavior.
Yeah, exactly. Games that have story modes, while I'll never use them, unless I'm like old and decrepit, like they're always a plus in my book.
Yeah. Alrighty. Well, let's get back to the Expedition 33 glazing as we move into business and econ. Alrighty. As always, definitely in over our heads, but we're just talking about some simple budgetary numbers, and I think it's something we can all wrap our heads around. Expedition 33, they did mention with all the award winning that the game cost $10 million. No,
Less
not
than.
missing in a zero. There's just 1 0 million.
0 million. Yeah.
And so in the
less
grand
than.
scheme of things is very cheap. You're talking potentially like a 30th of the cost of a normal AAA title. They had approximately 30 people, contractors, and localization and voice acting that worked on the game over 5 to 6 years. And this 10 million was confirmed by the CEO, not a leak or a rumor. So I think, as we kind of mentioned earlier, it's a good thing that they won all these awards because this is a good example of how to do this. And it's a good example to other companies of how to do this. They avoided doing too much. They didn't build an open world game. They chose something that they were passionate about making, and it was a little bit more focused with the turn-based RPG mechanics. They built it over 5 to 6 years, which means you're not trying to get it done in 3 to 4 and crunching the crap out of your team that entire time. They focused on what they wanted to do. They didn't expand beyond that. They weren't chasing the newest trend, and they didn't make a photorealistic game. Now, that to be said, the game does visually look good, but I think that stems more from the art choices and art direction while being sufficient in visuals rather than trying to seek that top of the line visual. They had some lower labor costs. We already talked about kind of how cheap it was on the team. They literally outsourced animation to another studio to take care of kind of that grunt work rather than hiring on hundreds of people that they couldn't afford. And then they focused on picking up people and giving them their biggest break. We'll talk about it a little bit later, but like the composer, I'm pretty sure they found off of Reddit. One of the voice actresses that won a major reward was doing side characters her whole career. She had never done a major character. So I think this is a good example of not necessarily going out and hiring the Nolan Norths for every game, but trying to find those diamonds in the rough, because A, they can get their big break, and B, you aren't spending that top tier dollar on something you don't necessarily need to when you have a smaller budget. I'm not talking about this for the Call of Duties that have the hundreds of $1 million budgets. This is a good example of how to make what is essentially a AA, AAA game on a shoestring budget and do it efficiently. And hopefully other companies take a look at this.
Yeah, I mean, I thoroughly agree. The amount of money that these AAA studios are throwing into these games is part of the reason that they're trying to also bump all of our games up to $80.
Yeah.
Like, hey, we have spent an excessive amount of money on this because we don't understand how to optimize, which is obviously very obvious given, how good it runs on a 5090, only 60 frames, by the way. But, still give us $80 anyways.
Yep.
Like, it's stupid. It's absolutely ridiculous. And I think more than anything, Expedition 33 has proven to gamers as a whole that you can do a lot with a little.
Mm-hmm.
And if that's the case, if you can get that gameplay, that quality, now granted it's a turn-based game, right? So you're not looking at hit registration and stuff like that, right? Which those are a little bit pricier, but regardless, there's no reason for a game to cost $450 million, $280 million, $220 million, right? Just to name a couple off the top of my head, right? Like it just doesn't make any sense.
I mean, but
why they would need to cost that?
Like, okay, let's say we go away from the turn-based RPG, right? So we spent $10 million on turn-based RPG.
Sure.
So we get a few million back because we're building a different thing, right? So, because that 10 million went to designing the turn-based RPG, right? So you're going to get some of that money back if you're going to build something else. But I posit to you, if you're going to do a little bit of a focus, you could, instead of doing turn-based RPG, you could do small area engagements, right? Kind of Pokemon style, where you come across an enemy and instead of triggering the turn-based RPG, it puts you in a small little space and you fight that enemy in that small little space. You don't necessarily have to worry about random crazy geometry or anything else happening. And yeah, that's going to cost more money, but let's say we save $1 million or $2 million, so we're down to $8 million. How much does it cost to build that mechanic? Is it another $10 million? Okay, we're only at $18 million.
Right, exactly.
For that.
That's my point.
Like, even if we over double the cost, you're still not getting close to these other numbers.
Exactly. You can quadruple or even 10x these numbers, and you haven't even touched the majority of AAA games. And a lot of the problem with a lot of these AAA games, in my opinion, is bloat.
Yep.
Like, they are unoptimized workflows. They're extremely bloated in their development team. And realistically, how much of that budget estimate is going into paying your freaking CEOs?
You're not wrong.
Like,
but I think
I understand.
And those CEOs are telling you to chase the latest trend,
Yeah,
oh, we need to add the extraction shooter mechanic. We need to add the, God, what is it? The battle royale mechanic. We need to have open world something, and this needs to be this, it needs to be that. It's like, no, have a focused leadership group that has a vision for the game and adhere to that vision of the game. If you have the time and manpower, you can add to it. If you don't get to add to it.
Yeah,
you build the game you have the capability of making.
And in my opinion, don't have useless positions. Right? Now, like, look, we all know that CEOs are important, okay? They're great.
Well, I don't know about CEOs being important, but somebody has to be at the helm, right?
Yeah, for sure. That's kind of my point, right? So looking at Sandfall Interactive, right? Expedition 33 developers, for those who don't know, their CEO is also their creative director.
Sure.
Like,
Yeah.
hey, that's doing the most. You
You're
have
not wrong.
established yourself as the leader,
I
as
hope
the
he got 2
person in
paychecks.
charge. 2 paychecks. Killing me. But anyways, that's like my point, right?
Yeah.
He is not doing something unrelated to game design.
Nope.
And a lot of the problem with a lot of these really big AAA games is that, yes, they have the overhead of a big company, but it also means they have the inefficiencies of a big company.
Yep.
Because
Absolutely.
some part of their funds, of their revenue, is being cut off from their ability to access it, and it's going up to the parent company.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, why? Just split off. And that's why so many big name developers have started doing that. They've just stopped caring about massive AAA games because it's an entirely different business.
Yeah, you're not wrong. And I think the other thing here that they talked about is contracting some stuff out too.
Yeah.
Like, there is a lot of grunt work when it comes to making a game.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the biggest costs is the ebb and flow, as you have to grow the team to accommodate it once you get to that kind of few years into the development life cycle. And I think this illustrates that a small company, you don't need to do that. You can remain in the leadership roles and the key roles and contract that out to another team that can do the grunt work, assuming you're actually doing your leadership job and double checking all that work and making sure the direction is staying on path.
Yeah.
But
exactly, right?
requires
And that's
good leaders.
That's your job as creative director, is to make sure that the creative direction is on the path you're expecting, right? When you hire a contractor, you don't just hire them and say, good luck, make sure it's perfect. No, you're with them every step of the way. You're checking on their work every step of the way, outside of certain animes that I can get into one day.
I mean, fair.
You remember.
Now, hold
I know
on.
you do.
Excuse me, okay. I learned
Okay.
from Randy Pitchford, who spent $300 million building Borderlands 4, that that's not what you do, because multiple times, Alien Colonial Marines, you just contract out to another team and don't check it until after it's released.
Yeah. Oh yeah, 100%. Or Call of Duty Black Ops 7, you could just put a bunch of freaking AI crap in there and still somehow spend $700 million.
Well, yeah. Do you know how much it costs per prompt?
Man, that's probably accurate. The question comes down to, does it cost more per prompt than it does per hour?
Well, considering you're paying the person to put in the prompt and sit there and wait for it, I don't know, maybe.
What happens when we get AIception, where we're paying an AI to create prompts for us to send to another AI?
You do know that I subscribe to Perplexity, right?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, that's essentially what it is I put it in there, and then you can pick the program, and then it reaches out to that program and has it do the thing.
Oh,
So
I know.
technically, I guess it is doing that.
Yes, it 100% is. But most of these bigger companies, my guess would be that they would be going directly to the source, right?
No.
At least I would hope so. But like, how are you going to spend $700 million, granted it is an estimate and who knows if it's accurate, on Black Ops 7 and still have AI generated crap? And like,
well,
when
it
I
would have
say
cost
it's
$800 million without generated crap.
How? Where are you spending this money? The game was dog.
I don't know, dude. There's no starving artists that would work for pittance. Okay, they don't exist. All of the artists everywhere charge hundreds of thousands of dollars per piece of artwork. That's just how it is. There's none of them that can use a steady paycheck that is a okay amount. That doesn't exist.
I guarantee if any of these big companies went on to X or Reddit or anything like that and just scrolled through and found a decent picture or whatever that was drawn by some artist and then just contacted them directly and said, hey, we'd like you to take an art test for us to see whether or not you'd be able to make the content at the style that we'd like you to. I don't know a single artist that would say no.
Or they like their style to begin with, so they hire him.
True.
Well, it's funny you say that, Haru, because if we circle back around to Expedition 33, we kind of already hinted at this, but the composer for the game that did win an award was discovered in exactly that manner. Oh man, you just can't believe you hit that on the head. Anyways, I apologize if I butcher this name, but Lorian Testard, is that how I'm gonna say that? Better than why
close
not?
Enough, I think.
But did the soundtrack for the game, had no prior professional video game composure experience. He worked as a guitar teacher and dedicated his time to composing music that was inspired by Mario Kart, Mario Party, and Zelda. He had spent a year composing and uploading approximately 50 tracks to SoundCloud and shared one to an obscure indie video game developer forum where it was discovered by the CEO who liked the work. So he reached out to him directly and he did the entire track for the game. He created 154 songs over 5 years, blending all different kinds of genres. And obviously they collaborated with other vocalists and composers. But exactly to your point, there are talented people out there that exist that aren't asking for the multi-million-dollar contract to do your thing, that clearly have the talent to do the thing.
Yeah, absolutely. And more as we get deeper into AI, the reality is that creativity will never, ever be matched by AI because AI cannot create. All it can do is mishmash.
Well,
right?
mimic, right?
Right, exactly. That's why I say mishmash, because the reality of what it's doing is it is taking in whatever images you have previously fed to the algorithm and creating something that potentially matches the prompt.
Yep. I mean, until we get, quantum computing, you're just a really, really highly intelligent if-then computing system.
Yeah, 100%. And if I remember correctly, I some story that I heard of is that like the lead writer, zero experience too.
Mm-hmm.
Like had absolutely no like previous professional experience to my knowledge.
Look, you can find talented people out. I think the point here is that talented people exist out there that would work at an affordable price, especially because it's their break. You just have to spend the time to go find them, but people aren't willing to do that, which is the sad thing. I mean, one of the best things of the early video game industry is that it was all unknown people that were making those games. Passionate projects that were working within the bounds of 8-bit computing to make soundtracks for games and all the art and stuff. And so they had to do unique, fun ways of doing these things. And they were trailblazing. And that can still exist today, even though there's well-established things that are done. You can still go find people to make passionate projects that do something different.
Yeah, exactly. And on top of that, like, indie games are where the heart of gaming truly is anymore. And Clair Obscur, it comes in as an indie game from a no-name studio that's never made anything else in its entire life, with a bunch of people who have never, ever done the work that they're currently doing in their entire life, wins Game of the Year and makes the company Millions.
Yep. And not just video game recognition. That soundtrack ended up on the Billboard classical charts, holding the #1 position for 10 weeks.
That's insane.
So not even recognized by other actual musical artists for being great.
Yeah. Like, I will say the music in Expedition 33 reminded me a lot of that one violinist, like techno violinist. I can't remember her name. But yeah, like it reminded me a lot of that.
No, 100%. I don't know if you're talking about techno violinist, but Lindsey Sterling is one of my favorite artists. I went to her concert at Red Rocks because my adopted niece loves doing violin, so I went with her to go watch it. She had a great time.
Yeah,
but yeah,
Lindsey Sterling is amazing, and a lot of Expedition 33's music reminded me of her music.
Yeah, I could see it.
Because it mixed a lot of traditional instruments with a lot of non-traditional sounds.
Oh, well, not just non-traditional sounds. Did you see the opening ceremony?
No.
There was a dude essentially playing a PVC pipe. So it was a custom-made instrument.
I saw a YouTube short about this.
Go check it out. Yeah, it's nuts. But the point being is, to your point, yeah, doing unique things with a unique flavor that's fun.
Yeah,
so,
100%.
That again, that's along with the other things they did. Hired actresses that had only done supporting small roles that ended up winning awards for. So like, yeah, go out there, find the hidden talent, and you don't have to spend $700 million making a game. I think is the point here.
Most of them would be happy working their dream job for $25 an hour because that's the reality of what they're going to get in the open world anyways.
Yep. A consistent paycheck. You give somebody a consistent paycheck, even if it's not the moon, you'll find people that will be happy with that. And I'm not saying it has to stay there, but we're talking about somebody creating a game for cheap. You're making something on a budget. You can find budget people that do a great job.
Yeah. And you clearly had a budget, right? They clearly got this money from somewhere, and if I remember correctly, it was primarily from the French government. But I could be wrong.
I don't remember specifically, but point is,
had money, right? They had an actual budget. It wasn't someone creating. It wasn't someone trying to create a video game in their basement in their spare time, right? They had money. They hired people. Right there, this was an actual business that maybe the whole thing was actually just a business loan.
Maybe
$10 million
this
business
isn't
loan.
Ubisoft playing with Star Wars money. This
right, exactly. And yet they created a game that arguably beats any Star Wars game.
Yep. No, I would take this over the $200 to $300 million Star Wars Outlaws any day of the week.
100%.
And this is coming from the guy that isn't a huge fan of turn-based RPGs either. I do enjoy certain things every now and then, and I would take this over an open world game that was bad.
Yeah, 100%. That you spent $300 million on and probably should have scrapped it halfway through.
Yep. Well, if you disagree with us, feel free to leave a comment that you loved Star Wars Outlaws and it is better than Expedition 33. Don't take that quote out of context.
Posting that up as a short right now.
No. All right. Well, let's continue the Expedition 33 talk in Civics and Sociology. All right, taking a look at the institutions in the gaming community, and I've specifically broken this up and put this here because as awesome as they are and as talented as they also recognize that, guess what? Our fans are the reason we're popular because they bought the crap out of our game. And so they said, hey, as they, flopped out that sausage and taco and said, not only are we winning everything, but we're going to give you free stuff as well. As they announced a Game of the Year Triumph update that doles out some free goodies. So it'll be patch 1.5, which did come out on December 11th. And this delivered on prior promises, mind you. But you're talking about things like a new explorable zone, new boss challenges, photo modes, new weapons, Lumias, costumes, and expanded localizations, which, unlike some other companies that say, no, we're taking away areas that can play your games, we're gonna add more options so more people can experience our game. So
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's clear that they had been working on this patch for a while, right? Especially
yeah.
if they released it 6 days ago, 7 days ago,
Well,
depending on when you're listening to this.
that was literally that. They walked up, said, yeah, we're awesome at winning, and guess what? Free update out now. Go get it.
Yeah, exactly. So they clearly were prepared for this. They probably weren't necessarily expecting to win Game of the Year, but they felt that they, I think probably could have just put out this update. Hey, thanks for nominating us. Right?
Well, I think it was pretty clear they were going to win something.
Yeah, probably.
So, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where, a thank you patch is always appreciated but not required. But as you said, they were
Especially when
delivering
that
on a
patch
prior
comes
promise
with
as well.
legit content too. It's not
Yeah.
just fixes, like.
Exactly.
So.
Yeah.
I mean, awesome. They're awesome people. They're good stuff. This is what a developer should be. Good leadership, good design, good everything, treating their customers well. And it got them a bump. So shortly after this, they hit 6 million in sales. Probably slightly because of this and all the exposure. And their player counts went up heavily because of it. Well, shock, you put out content. People are going to enjoy it.
Right.
However, moving on, they weren't the only ones. Other good guy developers of Hollow Knight Silksong was that Team Cherry.
Yeah.
Gave out a whole expansion. It's just a straight up free expansion. No cost, no money. December 15th is when they kind of showed it off fully, and it is scheduled for 2026, but they did announce it during the Game Awards. It'll be free for all owners. It's going to be nautical themed with interconnected areas, multiple new challenging boss encounters, and new tools and mechanics for Hornet, the main character. I mean, great. More of this, please.
Yeah. Literally more of this. Less of terribly optimized games, less of spending hundreds of millions on games and then releasing them so buggy that we'd rather refund them. Just make good games. Okay? Thanks.
Make good games, give people what they want. I'm not saying you have to give out stuff for free, but guess what? I'm more likely to buy your next game if I know you're going to be handing out free content.
Yep. Yeah, for sure. Well, and
right.
on the flip side of that, right? I'm less likely to buy your new content, like your new game, if the game you previously released was a buggy piece of crap that ran
monetized throughout.
Yeah, monetized throughout, ran at 60 FPS, if that, on a computer that costs $4,000 in modern day, not counting current RAM prices.
A perfect example of this, Marathon. They showed off some Marathon. Guess what the first thing is? Like they should. I think they had a screenshot of like the GUI, right?
Yeah.
So, like things like, hey, single player and multiplayer and all that kind of stuff. Guess what the first thing in the list was?
I don't even want to know.
Store.
In a PvE survival extraction shooter?
Yep, first thing listed was store. So I think, to your point, I'm less interested in your game if it seems like the first thing that you're concerned about is monetization.
Yeah, 100%. Like, look, chances are if the first thing is the store, it's probably going to be a free-to-play game. But I hesitate to want to really play too many free-to-play games in competitive, right? It's not esports, but there's competition. right?
Yeah.
It's active PvP. I never ever want to play a game where the other person can just buy an advantage over me. I don't want
Yeah.
that.
No, I'm with you. But yeah, so Team Cherry being awesome, giving you free stuff. And guess what? If you want to give them your money, you can't. It's free. You're just going to have to take it and like it. Anyways, I did want to point out a little bit of a funny, interesting incident. When Mario Kart was announced as the best sports/racing game, it got heavily booed, which
Oh, weird.
I just find funny. A, it's a Nintendo game, and B, God, just gamers sometimes are hilarious and awesome, and I love them. Sonic Racing Crossworlds, bit of a underrated kind of hit that people loved and people wanted to win. I had no desire to play Mario Kart open world stuff. It was obviously fine and probably good, but I just thought that this was a little bit of an interesting point.
I haven't touched Mario Kart for so long. It's just
Fair.
Maybe remove it from being a Switch exclusive.
Make a Nintendo non-exclusive game.
Yeah, like
next you're gonna ask them to
I'm just
make
not even
playing cards. Anyways, all right, moving on. I kind of wanted to go over this, not specifically for this instance, but as a general kind of abuse. Speaking of Nintendo, but Supercell of Clash of Clans fame has mass copyright striked one of their creators, Eric Onehive. They issued 11 copyright takedown requests. That's 3 strikes against that content creator on November 18th and 19th, which automatically activated YouTube's termination policy, giving him 7 days to try to appeal and reinstate his channel. The strikes occurred as a retaliatory measure after the creator, criticized Supercell's practices and treatment of other creators. I mean, this is weaponizing of the copyright strike system.
Yeah,
right?
Which YouTube, Google should completely revoke that company's ability to copyright after this. 100%.
Especially because this is a pattern of behavior. They did this
Yes.
to another creator in 2024 as well.
That's insane. And on top of that, this is a lawsuit waiting to fucking happen.
I mean, you are affecting somebody's livelihood.
Yes, 100%. And not only that, it's retaliatory. Right? You have directly affected somebody's livelihood due to their freedom of speech protected right to criticize you. Like, it would be the equivalent of Nintendo trying to slash us. Granted, we make nothing off of this, but trying to slash us for bad-mouthing them. But the problem is, they can't be all like, well, it's defamation. But it's not, because you're doing it. Defamation has to be a lie.
Yeah, provably false.
Yes. So, Nintendo, feel free to come at us, but I can prove that you have absolutely fought copyrights over and over and over again, and that's where you make a lot of money.
True, you're not wrong. And I mean, the other side of this argument is that, they have a right to their game, and it's, as long as they enforce it from the start. This is why Nintendo enforces copyrights from day one, because they don't want anyone doing anything. And so as long as they do it across the board all the time, they have a right to do that. Unlike this, which is you aren't enforcing it, you're only enforcing it when you want to, which is not how the law works.
Yeah, and without getting too deep into it, because I'm not a lawyer, but there is such a thing as a large S in legal speak, right? And it is perceived exception.
Yep.
Effectively, right? So
if you
it is
know
something
about it,
that,
you have to issue the takedown.
Yes, absolutely. And if the only way that you have ever found out about it is because of some criticism, starts to look real bad.
No. Especially when it's a prominent creator, which I think you could. Well, he's actually worked with them before, so they can't even say that. Yeah.
Yeah. They've
famously,
known,
there's a story from Disney where there was a daycare that had painted Disney characters on the wall,
Mm.
and Disney became aware of it, and they issued a cease and desist and made them paint over it. Now,
First off, stupid.
yep. Now, here's the thing. You have to protect your copyright. You know how you fix this? You go, hey, pay us $1. We'll send out a Disney artist and have them do an awesome mural. Free PR, free publicity. You protected your copyright because you've exchanged money. It's fine. You know who did that after they heard about it? Warner Brothers. So now that daycare full of children has Warner Brother characters on their wall.
Hey, Disney, you.
Yep, pretty much.
Basically, from Warner Brothers.
But point being is it doesn't just happen here. As much as we hate Nintendo, like they all do it, but like there's a right and wrong way to make it happen and still protect your copyright. And this obviously isn't it. It's retaliatory and dumb. Whenever this happens, it's obnoxious. It needs to stop. Don't misuse copyright. I don't understand how this is a problem that exists.
Yeah, I mean, they've done this before, right? As you stated.
Yep.
And the fact that they've done this before and still have the ability to copyright strike anything on YouTube without prior like communication is ridiculous. They can just ruin somebody's life. It's insane.
Yeah, 100%.
And that is the problem that I personally have with the current state that like YouTube content creation and streaming has in video games. A lot of video games have some kind of like terms of service thing in there that states that you can't record and display and stuff like that.
And disseminate and distribute.
Yeah. But almost none of the companies actually act on it unless it largely benefits them. And I think personally, if that's the truth, number one, like, hey, you just should not like that's just no longer a valid contract. Like if I can click on Twitch and see 300,000 viewers watching streamers playing your video game, but you decided to strike me, hey, you just shouldn't be allowed to anymore. Plain and simple. All because I said, hey, you guys are kind of scummy.
Yep.
Like that's just stupid.
A bigger wrinkle in this is Supercell is based in Finland, which doesn't have fair use protection.
Okay, then you better start searching YouTube and you better start going through and sending out copyright strikes to every single creator. I don't care if they have 100,000 subscribers. I don't care if they have 5 subscribers. Send it all. Every single one of them. Otherwise, you're waiting for a lawsuit to happen.
And, well, here's the thing. It's going to be hard to sue a Finland company, but I think on the reverse side of it is why does a Finnish company get to dictate what I assume is an American content creator, especially when they're in a country where fair use does exist?
Like, here's the reality. If you were going to publish your game in any other country, it is now up to that country's laws.
Yep.
Like, which is... Nintendo also does not have a fair use. Japan also does not have a fair use law.
I mean, Nintendo is Japan.
We're not going to touch that one. So Japan also does not have a fair use law. So a lot of times Sony and Nintendo will try and go after people. But the reality of the situation is that you published your video game in a country that does.
Yep.
So... And you know what else is fair use? Talking about it on IGN. Literally, the words of the game
You're right.
are part of fair use. So if you're going to protect your game and you're going to protect it like that, you better have assassins ready to stop me from saying the name of the game. Because at the end of the day, like, word of mouth, that's technically fair use.
You're not wrong.
taking a clip of it and sending it over to a friend of mine on Discord, that's fair use. Like, that's why the fair use law exists.
Yeah, it's to be able to critique, talk about without being sued at every which angle. That's the whole reason it exists. And it's not been the first
continuation.
Go
ahead.
I was going to say, it's not the first time. I mean, there's other examples for major games. Like, I think I remember an example of Warner Brothers with Shadow of War, with the loot box scenario. There's been plenty of other companies that have done it and abused it. It's just that this is the latest instance, and we haven't had a chance to talk about it yet on the podcast. So I figured I'd bring it up. I doubt it'll be the last time that we mention something like this.
Oh, yeah. No, it definitely will not. Because every time that a company does something this scummy, this absolutely terrible, I look forward to bashing them every time.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, though, companies suck. Plain and simple. Like, all this, unfortunately, a lot of companies, especially once they get to a certain size, it turns into all press is good press. It doesn't matter if everybody is talking bad about them, right? So this one creator who had 450,000 subs, my guess is Clash of Clans was probably his primary game, didn't really create anything on anything else, and they went through and just copyright striked and destroyed his entire livelihood. That makes headlines, right?
Yeah.
So now all of a sudden everybody is talking about Clash of Clans.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, they technically win, which is unfortunate.
Yeah. And us as gamers, we should stop letting them win.
So what you're saying is we've already contributed by talking about it. So we need to make sure that we also say to, if you find this abhorrent, you should not give them your money.
Yep, pretty much.
Cool. All right, speaking of other people that don't deserve your money, well, I say we just quickly do this and finish this out with shop class, and we'll kind of end there after we go through that. Alrighty, taking a look at some of the hardware and software that exists. Microsoft recognizes that it has a Valve SteamOS problem. If we look at Cyberpunk 2077 on SteamOS, it'll get about 59 frames per second. And on Windows 11, 46. So this is just a kind of a initial example of, especially as we look at kind of the handhelds, and as Valve has already announced the Steam machine, it's going to be a problem. And they recognize that the Windows bloat overhead for gaming definitely is going to need a little bit of TLC. Specifically, they're looking at expanding the Xbox Full Screen Experience, or FSC, for any and all devices. Now, what that looks like with the Xbox handheld is 2 gigs less in overhead. So you're saving a huge chunk of RAM and making that more available to the system. Yeah, I mean, is this anything that we don't want?
No, it's absolutely not. And I mean, we kind of talked about this in, like, when we talked about the SteamOS in the friggin' Steam box, whatever the hell it's supposed to be called. I don't remember anymore.
The Valve, Steam, whatever.
Yeah, whatever. But like, the point is that, hey, that's what's gonna happen if you're not careful. Gamers, especially, which, hey, let's just be real. Gamers are an extremely large portion of your non-commercial revenue.
Yeah.
Like, that's kind of the reality.
They are. And one of the reasons I think that Windows has remained dominant, other than the business side of it, is that when people look to get a system for PC game or for gaming, it's going to be a PC. It's not going to be a Mac. And if another option comes up, I'm not saying I wouldn't be opposed to using Linux, especially if my focus is gaming.
Yeah, I mean, if every game that I primarily play starts adopting SteamOS, I'll swap.
Yeah.
I'll swap hella fast.
Yeah, why
Like,
not?
that's not even a question. I mean, they can make commitments and all of that, which they are directly quoted making a commitment saying, "We're committed to making Windows the best place to play it, and we will continue refining system behaviors that matter most to gaming. Background workload management, power and scheduling improvements, graphics stack optimizations, and updated drivers." You can make all the commitments that you want, but the reality of the situation is you put us in this position in the first place.
Yep.
So somewhere you've either flip-flopped on your own decisions and are now changing, right? Or you're not actually going to change, and this is just damage control.
Yeah. I mean, is this the Windows Live 2.0?
Jeez. I mean, there are games out there that you literally cannot play.
Yeah.
Without that old version of Windows Live, which those servers are down.
Or heavily modded to get it
Yes,
to work because the
exactly.
community wanted to keep it alive.
Yep, 100%. Fable 3.
Yeah. I mean, I'm all for it, especially if it's like something I could choose to boot into, which would be cool. Like, give me access to Discord and maybe a browser, and we'll call it a day. I'm loading up my game. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't see why it doesn't already exist. So if there's something that doesn't and does it well, great. I definitely am happy that there's competition in the market, and hopefully they do something with it.
Yeah, I thoroughly agree. Like, at the end of the day, I will put a freaking dual partition, like dual boot on my PC so that I can work from it in Windows and then, game on it and on SteamOS or whatever the hell other system gives me the absolute best gaming performance. Like, that's the reality. And like, I'll limit it to the same way that we do our work computers. Hey, congratulations, Windows. Here's 250 gigabytes. Good luck. Because the other the other 7 terabytes, yeah, that's going to gaming.
I picture the imaginary line being drawn in the apartment, except it's the storage drive. You stay on your half, Windows. Don't come over here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so hopefully they do something with this, whatever it was, FSE experience, and it is competitive, and gamers benefit. Let's hope.
Let's hope.
I'm not holding my breath, but we
Me
can.
Neither. Oh, yeah,
All right.
for sure.
Well, I think it's good to end on hope.
Oh, man.
I think that's it for today, though.
Indeed.
Alrighty, people. Close your books. Pack those bags. Go home with your 9 awards and that big giant rucksack that you have. That's all we have for this week and today. We hope you enjoy your time off, and we look forward to participation in the next time. And just a heads up, we will be pre-recording the Christmas Eve episode. So if you hear that and you wonder, wait, there's information they're not talking about, that's because we recorded it a few days early. On that note, peace.
See ya.